Alrighty. So the Yankees, this is our first post game after a loss, if I'm not mistaken. Because we did not do post games in Arizona for the first two games because it was 12 o'clock when those games ended and there was just no shot. We were going to be discussing the Yankees at 1 or 2 in the morning after a 7-0 loss. So, look, this was a pretty uninspiring game. Like, just all things considered, offense stunk. It was kind of just like an ugly game. I know the bullpen didn't really hold it together there at the end either. But I feel like allowing 3 runs, you should win that game, right? You just should. You just should win those games. The offense didn't do their job. Like I don't want to kind of sugarcoat the fact that they played so poorly today. Do I expect the Yankees to not barrel a single baseball during a game? No. Do I expect them to get a hitless performance from both Judge and Soto every day? No. And do I think that now is the time to start pressing the panic button about the offense? Also, no. Like, I'm kind of – look, when we were winning, I made sure to say, just because you're 4-0, just because you're this and this, doesn't mean you won the World Series. The World Series is not won in April. And that, there's a long season to go. And that was because for losses like this, it's important to still say that – to share that same sentiment. It's important to still have that same message. And I think it's important for us to kind of peel back one big – positive we can take away from this game, and it's that Strowman pitched so well. Strowman was unbelievable. Strowman fires 6 innings of scoreless baseball. He was brilliant. He's been brilliant. He's been unbelievable. Now, have the Yankees done a great job of supporting him? No. You think of the 3 runs allowed in Houston. The defense wasn't great. You think of the game today. They didn't score for him. It obviously wasn't a good game for the Yankees. This obviously isn't an encouraging game. When you lose a baseball game, it's not encouraging. You want to win all your baseball games, and the offense didn't do much to give you encouraging signs. Really, the only guy who I felt had really good at-bats today was Volpe, and he's continued to have a really good start to his season. But, yeah, I mean, Dylan, this was an ugly loss. I don't really know if we want to start, I don't know where you want to start with that loss, but yeah, it was just an ugly loss, man. Take it away.
It wasn't a good loss, like you said. I mean, in theory, no loss is good. So, I mean, let's not act like that we have moral victories here. But, both their losses so far this season have been shutouts. So that's not really the encouraging part. I kind of wish that, if they're going to lose the game, they'd put up a fight. I mean, they kind of did in the 9th inning, but you kind of had a feeling not much was going to happen out of that, even though they did bring the tying run up to the plate. But, we can start with the positive things, which, really only positive thing was Marcus Strowman. I mean, he pitched phenomenal today. I mean, 6 innings of shutout ball, gave up only 3 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Phenomenal start from Strowman. He's had a phenomenal start to the season as well. I'm really happy to see him pitch well. I obviously want to see more before I really make a conclusion on how that contract and stuff is going to look in that signing. But so far, so good. So far, very good. I'm very pleased with it. The bullpen was not the best today. In fact, it was pretty bad. Ferguson gave up that pinch hit home run to Clement to break the score. It became 1-0 after that. He gave up 2 hits in 2/3 of an inning and that home run. So wasn't a good outing from him. Dennis Santana, who just came up today because of the injury to Jonathan Loaiza, which we'll also touch on later in this stream. But Dennis Santana, he got through those first 2 innings okay, and then it just fell apart in that last inning. He obviously it wasn't all his fault, but he did leave those runners on base, so he got charged with 2 earned runs. But then Nick Birdie came in, and I don't know what happened, but that was bad. He threw 3 wild pitches to let both those runs score, and at that point, you kind of just knew the Yankees were kind of out of it. The offense had been silent all game. You were praying that it would at least stay 1-0 so you could kind of get like maybe a bloop and a blast and get away with one. Once it became 3-0 though after those wild pitches, yeah, you kind of knew it was over at that point. And it sounds pessimistic to say it, but when the offense is going to have a quiet day like that, you kind of just know what to expect. And it's unfortunate that they put up a dud like this in the home opener. They struck out 11 times today, which is just not good. I mean, credit to the Blue Jays. They pitched a hell of a game, especially Yusei Kikuchi. He pitched a really good game. I can't even get too mad at that when you're pitching very well. But, these days are going to happen. It's just a harsh reality. I do wish we would have had better games out of guys like Judge and Soto and, of course, all the other guys. Stanton has continued to struggle, and I'm getting really worried about him because, I think a lot of people were hoping he'd have a bounce-back season, but so far through these first 8 games, it's been pretty bad. He struck out in more than half of his at-bats, and he's only hitting 125 with only a 452 OPS, So it hasn't been good so far. I mean, obviously, the outlook on the first 8 games has been very good. 6-2 through the first 8 games. You'll still gladly take that every single time. But you wish the home opener would have went better. You wish that would have went better. And the only thing we could hope for now is that tomorrow night they bounce back and have a much better offensive game, because I thought the pitching was fine outside of the bullpen. It was just the offense just really laid an egg. They did. It was just not a good game.
I don't even know. I don't even know where to really start in terms of like where the offense is at, because on one hand, I believe it's a small sample size in that I'm not going to start doing the whole, the season's over, the offense sucks, this isn't this.
Season's over, dude. It's over.
Yeah, but like they got to start hammering the baseball, man. Like it's embarrassing to watch some of these guys go up there and just not do damage. Like I think some of the at-bats, like people are going to I think people might rip me for this. And you know what? I'm okay being ripped for this. I love that Verdugo swung on the first pitch on that to end the game. I love that he swung at the first pitch, because that is a pitch to crush. That is a pitch to pull and tie the game with. He just missed it. That happens. I'm cool with that. Taking strike 3, non-competitive at bats, weak fly balls the other way. Look, guys are going to get going. I expect Judge to get going. Soto's hit a little bit of a rough patch. You expect that, right? Like, he was so red hot in Houston. It's going to kind of even itself out. Giancarlo Stanton, man. Dude, your job is to barrel the baseball. Your job is to go up there and do damage. Weak fly balls, helpless strikeouts. That can't keep happening. It's been, look, it's one thing to say Judge is going to turn it around. It's early in the year, because he's a guy who's been an MVP, the best hitter in baseball the last 2 years. Stan has not been a good hitter since the All-Star break of 2022. Dude, I'm not saying this to say the Yankees have to be worried, because I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't think the Yankees were banking on Stanton being that good this year. And I don't think the Yankees are going to be all too dismayed when Dominguez is healthy and they've got a chance to play him over Stanton. But for Stanton, dude, he's got to get the ball rolling, because time is of the essence. He has about as much time as Jason Dominguez is going to give him with rehab. And I'm not saying this is somebody who I can't wait to see Stanton fail this and that. I see like when people boo him, sure, like you're allowed to do whatever you want at the stadium. That's not going to be me. I'm not going to be booing Stanton after he strikes out. He wears it on his sleeve. He's accountable. I respect the hell out of Giancarlo Stanton. But I got to be honest. That's what we do. I got to be honest. His clock, his leash is the shortest of anybody in that lineup. Like, Birdie is not a starting caliber player. John Birdie's not going to start every day, number one. And number two, he can give you value off the bench. John Birdie, plays once every 4 days, once every 3 days, is fine, because he can pinch run, he can play all over the diamond. You like that. He's a good player. Cabrera, same situation. Like, I don't know if he's going to hit that much this year after the hot stretch he's gotten off. You would imagine he would, but I'm going to be realistic. I don't know how much more he'll give you offensively, but I know he can play third. I know he can play second. I know he can play short. He can play a little bit of the corner outfield. He can help you. You know what I mean? He does not have to hit to help this team. Stanton does not provide defensive value. He does not provide base running value. He has to hit to help this team. And he's not clicking right now. Give him time, because you have to do it for any player early in the year. But he knows his leash is short. He knows that. And it's just, it sucks to watch your team go out there and struggle to do damage on contact. It truly does. It is what it is, but yeah. So, I mean, I will also put out this for like a positive. Volpe, dude, like, I'm very impressed with Anthony Volpe. I am extremely impressed with Anthony Volpe this year. I feel like the swing changes are helping him. I feel like he does look better at the plate. The plate coverage, the zone coverage is very good. I feel good about his ability to extend this lineup. Hit him sixth all year. If you want to do that, that's fine. I mean, I don't know. Like, I understand there's some like, he's like, sometimes they move him up the lineup. It doesn't go so well. Man, I don't really care. Whatever the Yankees decide to do, they decide to do. The lineup order, not that it doesn't matter, but I'm not gonna really get that concerned about the lineup order, because I understand that it just comes down to who's gonna hit and who's not gonna hit. But like, again, like, I just think I'm very impressed with Volpe. That's a good sign. But everybody else, like, really, it's really Stanton in my eyes. Stanton's the one that's like, it's really concerning me. Rizzo's not getting off to a good start, and like, I feel like that's getting under-discussed. I know Verdugo hasn't got off to a good start. It's like Birdie or Trevino are tearing the cover off the ball. It's like Torres or Judge are doing their thing either. I expect Torres and Judge to turn around. I know Verdugo's playing well. I know Soto's going to get the ball rolling again soon. Those four hitters, if those four hitters are clicking, they're going to hit. right? They're going to hit with those 4 players clicking. Verdugo had some pretty decent at-bats. Like, again, I want to shout out that last at-bat because I just thought it was a very aggressive attempt to do damage and win a baseball game. But yeah, I don't know. That's really where I'm at.
You know, I want to touch on Stanton too because, you know, we did, you know, I briefly mentioned him in the opening, but I don't know what's going on with him. You know, it's been this way for the last, you know, what you just mentioned, year and a half now since the All-Star break of 22. And time is really running out. It really is, you know, and it's crazy because you wouldn't really have thought maybe 2 years ago that Stanton was going to be replaced by this time, but it might happen. It might. And I don't know how the Yankees are going to have to find a way to do it because he's playing under a massive contract, and I don't know how they're going to be able to move off of it. You know, I was impressed that they were even able to get off of Donaldson's contract, but Stanton's is a lot bigger of a contract. I don't know what they're going to be able to do with that. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and start already saying, let's trade Stanton right now. No, we're 8 games into the season, but the problem is that it's been a trend for a year and a half, and there's really no sign of it, you know, being any different because he's still making some helpless at-bats, like you said. He's still striking out a whole lot. Like I mentioned, he struck out more than half of his at-bats already. That's a bad thing. That's a really bad sign that, like, nothing, there's like no improvement really being shown at the moment. And, you know, we saw him in the offseason. He slimmed down and all that. People thought, okay, maybe he's going to stay healthy, which can be a big difference. Yeah, staying healthy is a big difference. Okay, now he's healthy right now, but he's still not producing. So I don't know what's going on. I don't really think he should be hitting cleanup anymore. I think a lot of Yankee fans can agree with me on that, but there's really no reason for him to be hitting cleanup with the production he's providing at the moment. I understand he's supposed to be the guy that is going to be hitting the home runs, but he's not even doing that right now. So he hasn't really deserved to hit in that cleanup spot, and he hasn't deserved to hit every day. You know, today there was a lefty on the mound. This should have been a game for Stanton to kind of have that, like, not breakout game, but, like, you know, that good game that we've been waiting for out of him, you know, a multi-hit game of some sorts. You know, he's always hit lefties well his entire career. No, he looked terrible today again. You know, he went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, and I don't even think he hit the ball hard once. So it's getting concerning. I'm really, really worried about it. But, you know, I wanted to pivot towards Volpe because you mentioned him as well. Yeah, he's off to a really good start. You know, he had 2 hits today. In fact, he was the only Yankee with multiple hits. And he's up to 423 on the season with his batting average. Obviously, it's 8 games. But still, an 8-game stretch of hitting like that, you'll absolutely take that. Because I don't even know if we had a stretch like that out of him last year. You know, his OPS is 1.154, which is very good to start. He's making solid contact. Much better plate appearances as well than he did last year. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do as he continues to develop here in his second season in the bigs. So he's someone I'm excited about. But Stanton is someone I'm very worried about, and I don't know what they're going to do about it. I don't know how much longer he's going to be having an everyday role on this team. It's something to monitor going forward. I really do think so.
Yeah, man, it's rough. It's rough with Stanton right now. Like, it really is. We have it's a year and a half sample size of him just not playing good baseball, and it's gotta change itself. I'm gonna turn to the chat here and kind of see what's been going on. We got John Bloom saying, yo, Ryan, yo, Dylan, Trevor, who is a frequent viewer of our streams, saying, hey, I haven't been on these in a while. It's all good. Strowman did great. Bats didn't show up. Bounce back and win tomorrow. Nick Birdie giving Brooks Christie PTSD was outing today. Yeah, he was just did not know where the ball was going. The Yankees are going to DFA Dennis Santana today. Are they? They're not going to. They don't have anybody. There's no corresponding roster move they're going to make unless Tommy Canley's all the way back. And I think Santana they could option Birdie if they'd like. I think he has minor league options. I don't think Santana's getting the boot. I didn't think he pitched that bad. I thought he looked okay. It wasn't like DFA him now worthy. It was more like, okay, you know, like you just kind of know now you're not throwing Nick Birdie in a bases loaded situation unless, you know, you're not going to do that because he can kind of get the ball sailing on you. I thought Santana looked good. I didn't think anybody in the pitching staff outside of Ferguson who looked pretty rough. He gave up that home run, so that obviously it doesn't look good. I didn't think anybody looked outright terrible today outside of
except Birdie.
Yeah, Birdie was like
Birdie was terrible.
It was not good. It was
awful. That was bad. The 3 wild pitches, and yeah, that was just rough. And you know, Santana, yeah, he pitched good. I thought he did well. He could have maybe done a little bit better, but I mean, they did run him out there for almost 2 innings, so I'm not gonna, you know, drag him down too much. And it was his first appearance of the season. I'm hoping that he can have solid performances. You know, the runs were charged to him because he did leave the base runners on when he got taken out, but Birdie's wild pitches obviously forced them in, which is kind of a shame because it's not like we were getting ripped apart. It was just bad pitching and bad breaks. So just got to hope that gets cleaned up in the future games.
Yeah, I just like it's so rough with Stan right now. It's just so rough. Yes, I saw that tattoo of somebody getting the 2024 World Series champs. Yeah, that tattoo sucks. Like, I'm sorry. But Santana was done. Yeah, he was just kind of hung out there to dry. It is what it is. He was asked to eat up innings. You know what? The bullpen's in good shape for tomorrow. Ferguson could probably go tomorrow if he needed to. And I think Ferguson, I'm not that concerned about one home run. He had some pretty big outs against the Diamondbacks. I'm not too concerned here. But yeah, Ferguson giving the home run wasn't ideal, but the game was on him. I agree. I'm at work, so I had to listen on the radio. The at-bats, see, they made Kikuchi work early, but after that, dude, it was brutal. It was so bad. I mean,
he was up to 69 pitches through 3 innings, and then I think he finished the game with let's see. He finished the game with 96. He finished the game with 96, and he pitched how many innings exactly? 5 1/3. So 69 pitches through 3 innings, and then, if my math's right, 27 through the next 2 1/3. I don't know what changed, but it wasn't good. So
yeah, I just look at the box score, man. This is atrocious. Is what it is, right? When you strike out 11 times, you walk 3 times. It's hard to make your at bats look good, right? Like, it just is what it is. They had 6 hits and they had 3 walks, right? They got on base 9 times. You should at least score a run, and they didn't. You know why they didn't? Because they didn't do damage on contact. The Yankees need to drive the ball out of the ballpark. There is no competitive winning baseball team that consistently wins games not driving the ball out of the ballpark. You want to say, the Cleveland Guardians that one year, and then we beat them in the first round with half of our team dead. Like, we had a feeble roster and we were crushing them. Like, they got to drive the baseball. I think they will, because it's very hard for me to imagine that this team can't crush the baseball, but they've got to start doing it. If they want to win games, they've got to start doing it. And, the schedule's hard. It is. It is a difficult schedule. There's nothing you can do about that. You have to accept that this is a tough schedule, but it is what it is. And, this is a great point here. Judge is going to get walked a ton with Stanton behind him. It will. Like, it is what it is. And yeah, there were 0 extra base hits today. None. That can't happen. That can't.
Mm-hmm. No, it can't. They didn't. There was really no instance in this game other than that bottom of the 9th inning where you felt like that the Yankees had a serious chance to score. That 9th inning was maybe the only possible chance where we could have said, okay, maybe they can score a run here because they had the 2 runners on with 2 outs. That was the only chance. It took 26 outs to reach that point, though. That's a problem. And that's without saying that we didn't even score off of that. We still went away without anything. So
it is what it is, man. They need to get things going with the ability to do damage. The home plate umpire sucked too. Like, I'm not one of those people who says a team loses the baseball game only because of the umpires. But dude, they stunk. Like, today they stunk. They stunk today. They were awful today. Trevino's at bat against Richards. That should be a walk. Soto should have walked against Richards as well. Would the Yankees have scored a run or 2 here and there? Maybe. And would they have kept Santana out there if, like, the time of that game felt like it did change a little bit because of the umpiring. The umpire sucked. But at the same time, we knew we were getting the outside corner because Strowman was attacking the outside corner all game and getting every single outside corner pitch. You got to make an adjustment. Nobody made an adjustment. Nobody tried to take advantage and say, all right, we kind of know the outside corner, especially Trevino. Dude, Trevino, I can't tell a hitter to swing at balls. I can't do that. But you're catching. You know what the zone is that day. You've got to adjust. You have to adjust there. Glaber, I love you, but you're complaining about a called strike. I get it. You didn't swing. They called it on the swing. But, dude, swing. It's a strike. You know what I mean? Like, let's do damage on contact.
They called it on the call. I don't even know if they called it on the swing. It did look like a strike.
Forget. I don't even know what it was exactly. You're right.
I don't know if we ever found out which one they called it, but, it looked like a strike. So I'm not going to be surprised if he called it on the strike. It looked like a strike. It was a pretty good pitch. He fooled him completely, but it was a strike.
You can't rely on working 15 walks. This isn't 1990 where guys had 80 mile per hour fastballs. Everybody goes, This is the 1996 Yankees. They grinded out at bats. Yeah, when guys threw 90 poo, when guys threw 89, when guys were in the league throwing fucking 91. You know what I mean? I know that Strowman out here shoved today sitting 89, 90, 91, 92 every now and then. But the difference is we know he's an outlier. That guy'd be just a dude back in the day, a dude who threw as hard as everybody else. You can't go up there praying to God that pitchers decide to pitch around you. I got 98 in the tank. I don't need to pitch around anybody. I got 98 in the chooch. I don't need anybody to pitch around. You try to hit this. The Yankees did not do damage in that show today. Kikuchi looked. Hats off to the Blue Jays. They pitched their ass off. This isn't a matter of like, all the Yankees left. Like, I hate when people do the whole, my team lost, and it was because my team left. Like, they beat themselves. There, you can't say the other team did anything good. I'm going to give credit. The Blue Jays pitched a hell of a game. Kikuchi pitched his tail off. Richards executed some excellent changeups. Yimi Garcia, big-time pitches. Chad Green, he made the pitches he needed to make. Hats off to them. But at the same time, the Yankees didn't do damage today, and that's going to keep killing them if they don't get that trend turned around. That's really it. Like, it's a matter of, like, it's kind of hard to, like, have a conversation about what they need to do better because it always gets twisted into, well, they suck at this. They're awful at this. This will never get better. It's the same team as last year. And it's hard to do they're playing well. Let's give them credit because then that gets overblown as well. I'm trying to hover somewhere in the middle. Not sure if I'm doing a great job of it, but yeah, I don't know. The umpires were bad, but the offense was bad too, and the pitching for the Blue Jays is very good.
We can sit here and blame the umpires all we want, but at the end of the day, the Yankees did absolutely nothing offensively. So does it make a huge difference? Probably not. I mean, even if you got some more favorable calls their way, sure, maybe guys could have gotten on base, but it's not like they were doing anything with them anyway. The few times they did get someone on base, it would result in pop-outs or strikeouts or, this and that. They really showed nothing that could make me believe that they were going to get a rally going. Even in that ninth inning, I didn't feel that confident. Even when they had the two guys on base, I was like, cool, now you want to get guys on base 26 outs later? Like, you're not going to get away with winning a game doing that. I'm sorry. You're not. And if they would have found a way to tie that game, great. I still wouldn't have felt great about a chance winning that game, though, given how the offense was playing. So it happens. It's one of those games. Like you said, the Blue Jays pitched a hell of a game. Props to them. I mean, we hate giving props to our division rivals, of course, but they pitched a great game. I can't get too mad about that when you're pitching a good game. It happens. These types of games are going to happen where your offense just gets shut down. I don't like the fact that it's happened twice already this season, only through 8 games, but I'm hoping as, the season progresses along and guys can start getting going offensively, then that will end. That won't be a continuing trend, but 6-2 through the first 8 games. Like, I don't want people to think we're complaining about 6-2 through 8 games. I'm very happy with that. I just don't like seeing games like this where they just completely lay an egg and don't really put up a fight. I'd rather them at least put up a fight. And, maybe they put up a quote-unquote fight in that 9th inning, but let's be real. I think a lot of us knew that they weren't going to make a huge comeback. I think a lot of us kind of didn't really expect much, even with that little quote-unquote rally at the end of the game. You know what I mean? Not trying to be pessimistic either. It's just, that's the reality of watching when you watch the game so many times, you kind of know what to expect.
And also, I see some people getting on Boone for like backing up Stanton in the post-game presser. That's his job. That's what he's got to do.
Boone's not going to, as I say, Boone's not going to say, oh yeah, Stanton sucks. He's playing terrible. Like, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that.
I don't like being shut out.
Job.
I don't like being shut out, but I also will say this, it's early. Like, I actually looked into this. This time last year, the Yankees had like an 800 OPS in offense. Did that team hit? No, they stunk. They're terrible. They're awful. They were atrocious. They're terrible. You know what I mean? That team stunk, So I'm not going to give you the whole look at the Yankees offensive stats and get concerned, right? Look at the offensive stats and say it's over. They're not going to hit. It's done. Like, it's cooked. Season's over. All that kind of stuff. I will look and I will tell you guys. Look, again, I'm going to just I literally put up the offensive stats for you guys now. Okay. This time.
That's 8 games in the season. I love it.
Yeah. This time last year, the Houston Astros had a worse offense than the New York Yankees. This time last year. Worse offense than the New York Yankees. I mean, I need people to understand what it is to have a worse offense than the New York Yankees. You know what I mean? The 2023 New York Yankees specifically, because that was an atrocious ball club offensively. That team couldn't hit. That team couldn't do a lick. They really couldn't. I also don't think I meant I might have meant the Texas Rangers. That's on me. I don't know. I think Fangraphs is not working because it's saying that like it's giving me the numbers for the Yankees for this year entering the game, and that's not what I'm looking for. It's okay. I'll find it eventually. But my point more so is we've got everything has to be with kind of the context of understanding where, yeah, okay, no, I got it now. The Yankees had a 119 WRC plus. They had a 330 OBP. Like the Houston Astros, where are they here? They're 101 WRC plus. Look at the Texas Rangers, 105 WRC plus. I'm trying to look for other good offenses. The Phillies, 97. The Twins, 86. You know, Arizona, 64. You know what I mean? We're talking about teams that all went to the ALCS or NLCS. At the top of the league, well, you could look at, obviously, look, the Rays, the Dodgers, Cardinals, Orioles. The Milwaukee Brewers were fifth in 2023 at this point in time last year. The Milwaukee Brewers couldn't freaking hit, man. They couldn't hit. So, you know, I just want the context of how this year's going. We'll wait. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. That's really where I'm at. So,
it's simple as that.
And if Stanton is done, look, if you ask me, yeah, I have no faith in him turning his season around. None.
He might have like one good, like he might have like one solid week or one solid like 3-game stretch. But if anyone's really expecting a like bounce back season, quote unquote, from him, I hate to break it to you, I don't know if that's really gonna happen. I don't. And you know, I'm not Giancarlo Stanton, obviously, so who knows? Maybe he does turn it around after today and has, you know, a phenomenal stretch of games for a while. Maybe he does. You never know anymore this day and age. But the chances of that happening are very slim. So I don't know.
I just
look, and believe me, I like Giancarlo Stanton a lot more than the next guy probably does. But dang it, man, it sucks. It sucks watching this guy just put up uncompetitive at bat after uncompetitive at bat, not really make any sort of like effort to adjust, and he's just swinging at bad pitches that are 50 feet in the other batter's box, not even in the strike zone, just helping pitchers out. That's not what you want out of your cleanup hitter. You know, I understand he's got all that power and he's supposed to hit these 500-foot moon shots. Great. But you don't want your cleanup hitter striking out 55% of the time. You don't want your cleanup hitter doing that, because then what's the point of him being the cleanup hitter? He's supposed to be coming up there when guys are on base, driving some runs, you know, get the offense going. Instead, he's rally killing. That's what's happening. These rallies that we're getting, in instances like that, they're just getting killed. When you have Stanton hitting cleanup, that's what's going to happen. You know, I'm not exactly saying in particular today that was the case, because nobody hit today. But if you're going to keep hitting Stanton in the 4th or the 5th spot of the order for the entire season, you're not going to get much going, because you're putting a guy in the heart of the order that is producing nothing. So I don't know. I'm not like blaming Boone either. I'm not trying to, but it's just the reality. He shouldn't be hitting that high in the order. He shouldn't be playing almost every day. Obviously, we don't have Dominguez right now, so he's going to be playing a lot up until then at the very least, but he hasn't earned these at-bats. He's kind of just getting them because we have nobody else to put there.
Yeah, and if you kind of want, you know, when it rains, it fucking pours. Spencer Jones has been scratched from the Double-A opening lineup, so when it rains, it pours, you know? When it rains, it freaking pours!
Our New York teams have not gotten good injury news the past 2 days, huh?
Yeah,
if you're a Knicks fan,
pours.
Yeah, we know. If you're a Knicks fan that's watching this, we know we're hurting right now. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's this shit stinks, huh? Stiff neck, I think is yeah. Is that what we're? Because I'm seeing Trevor say stiff neck. I'm trying to see if that's like. Do we have? I'm gonna just check Spencer Jones. I want to see Twitter say it. Like, I need somebody. Okay, yes, he's been scratched. He woke up with a stiff neck. Didn't take BP today. Okay. Dude, Justin, this is the best way to put it. He is a cleanup hitter who is making a mess. He is making things worse right now. Mm-hmm. The second that Jason Dominguez comes back, he better be here.
Yeah, because we you know, even though we only got to see 8 games in Dominguez, I feel like we've already seen more produced out of him than we have from Stanton in the past year and a half. You know, and that sounds harsh, but Stanton's hitting like what 179 since 2022 of July, and his power numbers are down. His his WRC plus is horrific. His on base percentage is terrible. He hasn't even stayed healthy either. It's everything you don't want out of any player, but especially your cleanup hitter that is making almost several $100 million. That's what you don't want, and that's what we're kind of stuck with. And it kind of sucks because it feels like the past few seasons we've been kind of like there's that one guy that we kind of feel like we're stuck with. Like we were stuck with Josh Donaldson for the last 2 years. We were stuck with Joey Gallo for about a year, and then we finally were able to trade him away. Now we're stuck with Giancarlo Stanton. We were stuck with Aaron Hicks as well. Guys like that. I feel like every year there's a guy we're like stuck with, and this year it's Stanton. Right now we're stuck with him. I remember seeing that. It's funny because I say that. I remember seeing a tweet in the offseason from a guy that wasn't a Yankees fan who was like, "Oh, you guys are just mad that Ohtani's out west and you're stuck with Soto." Yeah, I'm gladly stuck with Soto, but I'm not gladly stuck with Stanton though. So, just wanted to get a little laugh.
Yeah,
off
he's
on
got
that
a
one,
he.
but yeah.
The Yankees have to figure out a way. Like, I don't even mean to say this like to be disrespectful. Dude, the Yankees have to figure it out with him. He's so unbelievably bad. Like he's bad.
The
He's been
problem
so
is,
bad.
like,
He's a negative WAR player.
Every player's gonna go through a slump. I mean, look at Aaron Judge and Soto right now; they're going through a slump. But the problem is, it's been this way with Stanton for almost 2 years. Like, it's almost every day where we go, okay, is this the day Stanton breaks out? And then maybe Stanton will have that one game where he had 3 hits and 2 home runs, and we go, okay, maybe this is the game he's finally back. Maybe this is the game he's finally breaking out of it. And then the next game, it's 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. And then he goes back into a prolonged slump. There's no consistency anymore. The only thing consistent is that he can't hit.
I will also say this because I saw somebody say we were stuck with Sanchez too. No, we were not. He was not under contract. The Yankees could cut him at any point in time. And I will say this about Gary Sanchez. He never had a prolonged stretch of baseball. Now, you could say the 2020 year, he was really bad that year. I get that. But I'm saying prolonged stretch.
2021, it wasn't good either. But
2021,
for the most part.
My point more so is, like, he was a catcher. So, because he could play, like, you could say he wasn't a good defender, but he was an okay defensive catcher. That is significantly more value than getting from a DH. Gary Sanchez was never a negative WAR player for 2 full seasons. Stanton is approaching. This will be his second full year being a negative WAR player. After in the second half, he was a second negative WAR player in 2022. Sanchez has never played this bad over this long of a period of time consecutively. Stanton has just been bad. And it's not another thing. I see this tweet online, and I like this tweet. Given the defensive value he can bring, at what point do you just say Grisham's got to play over him? Because he can play center, you just let Soto and Judge alternate DH. You take the defense. I don't know what to do, but like I just can't Stanton. It's been so bad for so long. The leash is so short. The patience runs so thin here because of how bad he's been for a while. He's been bad longer than Donaldson was bad. 2023, we knew Donaldson was bad because of 2022. Stanton was bad in 2023 and the second half of 2022. And he's been bad to open the year. That's a year and a half of being bad rolling into the year. Donaldson was in a year, and we cut him by August. And he was cut in August because he was on the IL for an extended period of time. You got to pull the plug on Stanton. If Dominguez comes back, let's say in mid-May, that's when you pull the plug for good. I don't ever need to see him play with the Yankees again. I really don't. You're right. This is not a slump. It's simply not a slump anymore.
Yeah. It's a full-length season's worth of bad baseball, like Justin just said. It's, however many games you even want to put it. It's been too long.
And this is true too.
You don't even need to look at a number of games at this point. It's been too long, even calendar-wise. Like I said, we've been wondering for 2 years, when is he going to turn it around? Is this the day he turns it around? No. That's been the case almost every single day for the past 2.5 seasons or season and a half, however you want to put it. It's been that way for too long. Too long. Most teams would not put up with this. And I don't think I'm not necessarily saying the Yankees are putting up with it, but something's got to be done at some point. They can't let this happen much longer. They cannot do it. They can't do it. They can't. I'm not gonna, I'm not saying,
Yeah.
and I don't want to sound like overreactionary because we're only 8 games into the season. Anything can happen. I want to emphasize that at the very least. But like we've been saying, it's not like this is just an on and off first 8 games for Stanton. Excuse me on that. But it's not like it's just an off first 8 games. No, it's been an off 2 years. So, and like we've been saying, there hasn't been any signs that maybe he is improving. Maybe he is getting better. Maybe he's doing the right things. No. He's back to doing what he was doing last year. Maybe the first couple games in Houston, I was maybe like, okay, maybe he's going to have some better at-bats. Maybe he'll do a little bit better. He hit that home run in Houston. I was like, okay, maybe let's get a little bit more of that, right? No, ever since then, has he even gotten a hit? I'm being for real, too. I could be wrong, but, I can't remember if he's even gotten a hit since then.
I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say. I really don't.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
Factually, I could be wrong if about that, but I can't remember off the top of my memory if he's gotten a hit since that home run in Houston, and that was almost a week ago. Matter of fact, I think it was a week ago. So
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
and this person, he said if Sanchez was the DH, he'd be better. Yeah, probably. He probably would.
I'm just kind of
and Sanchez's last 2 years as a Yankee were rough. But he probably still would at least put somewhat better results than this.
Yeah, it's rough. But you know what? I will say this. Roll back tomorrow and see if you win. I know Kevin Gausman's on the mound. It's against Clark Schmidt. You're at a pitching disadvantage, but you never know, right? Like maybe tomorrow's the day they wake up. Maybe tomorrow's the day the offense gets it going. All it takes is 1 or 2 swings, and we'll be sitting here talking about how good of a win it was. And I guess you could say the other direction.
Said, if we didn't get some horrific wild pitches in that 9th inning, all it would have taken was a bloop and a blast. So anything could happen. But sometimes the pitching just doesn't have your back, I guess. And today the bullpen did not.
Is what it is.
It was a crappy home opener, but at the end of the day, it's just 1 loss. So move on to the next one, and you can still take the series, which I would love for them to take the series. At least get tomorrow a win. Force a rubber match on Sunday, and then, you go from there. That's really way to look at it. But it starts with the offense needing to click. It needs to, because quite frankly, the offense has been a little bit dry the past 3 games. They scored 6 runs against Arizona, but they only had 2 through the first 9. So, and it was off of 1 home run. So, the offense has been not so good the past couple games. Obviously these dry spells are going to happen. It's part of the long season, but you want to see better results at the plate, and it starts with hopefully a better game tomorrow. But then again, Kevin Gausman's pitching, so you got another tough draw, and Kevin Gausman's killed us. Kevin Gausman's killed us too. So tomorrow's going to have to be the day they change that.
Yeah, we'll see. It is what it is, but hey, I'm not too concerned.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna harp on it. It's 1 loss, and we're 6-2 through 8 games. I couldn't have asked for a better start overall on that, but I just want to see better results. We don't take moral victories here. Sure, the pitching was great today, but we're not gonna talk about the pitching so much when we didn't win the game. So, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. I really don't have anything else much to add. This is just demoralizing.
There isn't much because this game was just very dry. Nothing really happened this game. No offense at all. Strowman pitched a gem.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Strowman, but the bullpen didn't really do much. I mean, oddly enough, there was an earthquake in New York City, so I guess that was an interesting development from this morning. I don't live in New York, but I know for a lot of people that are probably watching this that I'm sure that was a scary thing for a lot of y'all to witness.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to do a live.
Maybe it was the earthquake. Maybe it was the earthquake.
The earthquake was pretty crazy. Yeah, that was pretty.
Well, maybe that's why.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. The earthquake. It was today was just a weird day. Ruben Odor is back. Loaiza's season basically is over. You have an earthquake in between all that, and then you just. You know what? Tomorrow's the real home opener. It's a 1:00 game on a Friday. Nobody cares about those. I wasn't at the stadium, so it's not really the home opener.
Before we do close the stream too, I did want to talk about Loaiza real quick because
right, yes,
that really sucks for him. I really feel bad for him. Honestly, this is what now. He's had so many injuries in the past few seasons, and from what I was hearing about the injury he got today is usually a big precursor to Tommy John. So I don't know, man. It's not looking good for him, and I feel really bad for him because his stuff is so good and he's so electric out of that bullpen. But man, he just hasn't been able to catch a break. He only pitched like 4 innings this year before he went down, and last year I think he pitched less than 20 innings. So it's been an awful 2 years for him. I really feel bad. I really do, and it sucks for our bullpen too. Maybe he would have been in the game today if that didn't happen. Maybe he would have been out there at some point. Who knows? But now they're gonna have to tread without him. They're still gonna. I'm pretty sure they'll get like Scott Efros back at some point. I guess he'll quote unquote take that spot. I mean, I'm kind of just speaking in retrospect because he's still got a ways away before he's back. But I feel really bad for him. I really do. I feel bad for Loizaga, man. His stuff is so good, but it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it stunk. I mean, it stinks to lose him for. I mean, he might never pitch for the Yankees again. I think that's kind of.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the one to
that's
say that, but it's the sad reality. He might have pitched his last pitch as a New York Yankee, and it's unfortunate to hear
yeah.
that, but it is a harsh
It
reality.
is what it
Because
is.
if he's
I
gonna
mean,
keep having these injury problems, then
no, it's really like he's a free agent after this year. Like this is really it.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really
and
like this might be it.
we might not see him again this year.
Yeah, it's a little
I saw the Athletics Chris Kistner had tweeted this morning because somebody had mentioned it being a precursor to Tommy John, and he agreed, and he said he'd be surprised if he sees Loizaga again this year. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really unfortunate. Yeah, it is what it is, but I like Loizaga a lot, and I know a lot of Yankee fans love him as well. And he's so electric out of that pen, like I said. His stuff was so good. His stuff looked so good to start the year, too. I was really looking forward to watching him healthy for once, and then he goes right back down again. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I can't really like contextualize. Obviously, I can't understand how sad it is because I can just tell you how sad it is, but I imagine the Loizaga, it's hurting a lot more for him than we could possibly understand. He's somebody who has been in the organization for a while, came up in 2018. He's one of the longest tenured Yankees. And yeah, I mean, it sucks. It stinks, but the Yankees will have to figure out a way to get through the year without him. This is an interesting point. Wells DH while Trevino catches. I don't think that'll happen because you kind of want to give these guys off days. If these guys get hurt, you got a problem and you're down a catcher and
you kind of want to have one of your catchers on the bench. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. For that reason as well.
You want to have one of them on the bench
in
case someone gets hurt or defensive replacements. It's unlikely we'll see Trevino. Maybe once in a while they'll both play, but I don't think you're going to see that become like an everyday thing. You know what I mean? Like maybe an example of a team that does it frequently is maybe like the Astros, Yainer Diaz, and then their other catchers, because I know Yainer Diaz is a pretty good hitter, so they're going to keep making sure that he plays. But I don't think the Yankees are going to do that with Trevino and Wells right now, at least not yet. So we'll just have to see what happens with that one. Yeah,
for sure. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's stream, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We obviously we don't want to talk about the Yankees after they lost, but we will do it. And on top of that, hopefully tomorrow we can come back and we can have a win. We'll give you guys a little bit more information about the game tomorrow when Alex and I record in the morning. And if you guys enjoy our social media presence, we are booming on Instagram. You guys should check us out there if you have not seen. Our content we've got put out there. Check out our articles on EmpireSportsMedia.com. You guys can also check us out on our personal Twitter accounts where we post all of our work for Empire Sports Media and all of the stuff we're doing. They're above our heads. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully we can be 7-2 at the end of the day tomorrow. Peace out, everybody. We love you so much, and we'll see you guys on the next one.